Ladies and gentlemen, finally the Venice Biennale of Architecture 2021 has opened its doors to the public. Given the uncertainties associated with the pandemic, we can be very pleased about this important event taking place. A global crisis like the current one shows that the renowned architecture exhibition in Venice is much more than just a periodical showcase featuring the cultural achievements of various nations. It is indeed more. It is in fact a platform mirroring international collaboration, a collaboration of the global arts community carrying out works based on highly relevant and crucial issues of our time. The question of this year's Biennale about the future of our coexistence has become even more relevant due to the global crisis. The inspiring and challenging motto, "How will we live together?" shaped the core of the Austrian contribution Platform Austria, but has been adapted several times due to the Biennale's postponements. Platform Austria focuses on platform urbanism. It refers to a critical analysis of current developments and their wide-ranging effects. It examines the potential of future-oriented architecture and its impact on urban development. At the same time, it promotes a broad and continuous discourse on these topics. In this way, the Austrian Pavilion is a physical space for an exchange of ideas. At the same time, it transforms itself into being its own platform for dialogue. Peter Mörtenböck and Helge Moshammer were selected as curators for the Austrian Pavilion. Their profound expert knowledge in this field made this outstanding Austrian contribution at the Architecture Biennale possible. I would like to thank them and the organizational team for their fascinating work, and especially for overcoming the additional hurdles caused by several postponements and thereby necessary adaptations. Let us now look forward to numerous visitors to the Platform Austria and a fruitful exchange of ideas, views and perspectives. May this experience at the Austrian Pavilion be inspiring to all visitors. Welcome everyone.
Einen wunderschönen guten Nachmittag. Buon pomeriggio. As I said, I'm extremely happy today to attend the opening of this year's Biennale here in Venezia of Architecture after a long and very cold hibernation of social and cultural contacts. The curator of the Biennale this year asked, "How will we live together?" And the Austrian curators and the Austrian contribution answered. Peter Mörtenböck and Helge Moshammer responded by exploring the phenomenon of platform urbanism. The Platform Austria project was conceived very early on. Nobody could have imagined that this then already highly relevant project and topic would be pushed even further upon our attention due to COVID. And I thank you, and I pass on the word to Peter Mörtenböck. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mantel, for your kind opening remarks. We are very glad to be here today with all of you. And we are really looking forward to an inspiring and exciting exhibition and program here in the Austrian Pavilion. My name is Peter Mertenberg, and together with Helge Moshammer, I would like to join the Consul General in extending a very warm welcome to you all. The Austrian Honorary Consul in Venice, Matteo Soppas, and all other representatives here today, exhibitors, sponsors, preview guests, and the whole team responsible for the Austrian contribution to the Biennale Architettura 2021. Now, as we've just heard, this event is also being recorded, and so I would also like to welcome everyone watching online. For those of you in Austria who might not be able to come to Venice in the next weeks or in the next months, we have curated a satellite exhibition in the Vienna MAC Forum, which can be visited between the 28th of May and the 29th of August. And it's an exhibition that gives you a bit of a taste of what the Austrian Pavilion here in Venice looks like. Now, after 2 years of working on this exhibition, it's a real pleasure for us to reach the point where we can actually present our Biennale contribution to you all. These 2 years have confronted us with many different challenges. In our own case, we found ourselves having to develop multiple versions of an exhibition without ever being sure that it would actually take place or under what conditions it could. The conditions we are now operating under, as we all know, are still highly complex, and they require us to adapt to new circumstances and new roles on an almost daily basis. The time of the pandemic is definitely a time of constant change. These changes are bringing with them ever new challenges for which we need solutions. Politics, technology, the economy, and academia are important areas in which such solutions are currently being developed. But it is also in the field of architecture that we are being challenged to look out for solutions, especially for solutions that can help to improve our spatial coexistence during the pandemic and in the time following it. The chief curator of the Biennale Architettura 2021, Hashim Sarkis, has addressed precisely this issue with his titular question, how will we live together?
So has the meaning of this question changed over the last year? The pandemic has once again made clear that architecture's core task of structuring space is an important and urgent issue for us all. But what has also become evident is that the realm to which this task applies is increasingly extending beyond real space into virtual digital spaces. Over the past year, we've had to embrace new habits for dealing with needs we would normally meet at different concrete sites within the urban space. In the course of the pandemic, we've become accustomed to working from home, availing ourselves of delivery services, consuming entertainment online, keeping fit with the help of step counter apps, using web portals to organize a holiday that might be possible again at some stage, and satisfying all our social needs via platforms. Whether in the context of work, consumption, entertainment, education, health, mobility, or food provision, today we spend a considerable amount of time on platforms. As a consequence, during the last year we've come to understand that the world around us has grown enormously, but has also shrunk enormously. We can connect literally with everywhere and everyone, around the world, yet at the same time we see how tedious and difficult it has become to socialize in real space, let alone travel to another country and attend a cultural event like this one. In these circumstances, we need to ask, how are the things we do online connected with the development of the physical space? What influence do platforms exert on this physical, urban or rural space? How do they anchor themselves in this space and change the way we live together, not only in terms of our interactions, but also in terms of the built environment of architecture? This is the core question with which we engage in this exhibition, And for this purpose, we've looked very closely in many countries around the world at all the new spatial typologies and infrastructures that have developed around platforms, co-working and co-living spaces, distribution centers, meeting pods, ghost kitchens, dockless bikes and e-scooters, safe meetup spots, self-service stations, server farms, data centers, and so on. Such phenomena provide reference points in this exhibition for reflection on how buildings, cities and regions throughout the world are being remodeled in order to offer platforms optimal environments for their services, but also for reflection on what consequences such remodeling has for us and our world.
And as you can probably see for yourselves in the exhibition, we are not only dealing with words here. We show a wealth of images in order to provide a vivid and concrete impression of how the city as platform feels, how it looks, and where we encounter it. And we hope that it quickly becomes clear in this context that platforms like to present themselves as formless, as fleeting, as almost ghostly phenomena which skillfully bring us together without themselves exhibiting a discernible form or apparent relevance. And therein lies their deceptive character. For platforms are, of course, media, and as such are always between us. Even though we barely notice the media character, the capacity to frame, to shape, and to steer us. So platforms are more than merely a background to our exchange. They constitute the conditions under which we are able to come together. And a decisive role in this context is being played by the physical, spatial environment in which our interaction takes place.
Our aim is to find a way to free ourselves from the constraints and formats imposed on us by platforms and to cultivate a different quality of exchange and discourse. To this end, we are calling on all those interested to upload images of spatial settings onto our website in order to build up a collective archive of ideal worlds. We've also invited around 60 bloggers and thinkers from all over the world and across generations to share their observations of platform urbanisms and their ideas on the better approach to technologies in architecture. The original plan was to have them formulate ideas on site in the pavilion and engage with visitors in live discussions. But as we know, circumstances have changed, and we are now unable to have so many people physically present in the pavilion. For this reason, over the last year, our guests have worked remotely on a blog from their own homes, and we have transformed all their texts and images and podcasts and videos into a sculptural installation which can be viewed in the main room of the pavilion. Some of the participating bloggers are also present here today, and as you know, travel is still very difficult, is a challenge, so that group has predictably, I presume, shrunk a little bit over the last few days, but a handful has made it, and it is thus with great pleasure that we would like to ask them to join us here on stage and briefly introduce themselves. So I would like to ask onto the stage Lucia Babina, Bernadette Graez, Peter Lang, Heidi Gueterhofer, and two of the Into the Black Box collective, Nicola Cupini and Marilio Pierone.
My name is Lucia Babina. I'm a cultural activist, and I'm happy that I was invited by Helge and Peter to contribute. And I'm really happy that on this occasion of the Biennale, we can all meet in person, also with old friends. And my topic was to explore about intimacy in this crazy world, especially also during the pandemic, and the fact that this digital world in which we had to navigate, also the intimacy in our personal body was very much affected and influenced, and how you can actually get in touch with yourself in a way, and to create new paths and new ways in this new world that is just creating, because I don't think we are going to go back to the same world of the past. And so, thank you.
So my name is Bernadette Graez. I'm an architect and a researcher from Vienna. And during this blogging process from at home, it was even more clear that platforms are really part of our everyday life. And what was very important for me also to discuss it with the question of access if you join a platform, and also of exclusion. So I think that would be topics we should discuss in the pavilion and online. But also on the other hand, which opportunities maybe these platforms also offer if you are not just a passive user who should consume, if we are political or active users. So I think the debate around platforms, what they can or what they cannot, I think that would be very interesting to go in a discussion with all of you.
Hello, my name is Peter Lang. I'm also participating here. I have to say that I'm doubly honored because my family, although I'm born in the US, my family is Hungarian origin, and it dates back to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And so I think it's just a wonderful opportunity to be able to be in this kind of confluence of platforms where you have both historical layers and current, both, let's say, traumas and revolutions at play. So thanks for this opportunity.
Hello, welcome. My name is Heidi Gueterhofer. I'm an architect working and living in Vienna, and this year also in Graz. For my blog, for the blog entry I did, it was somehow about the question what platforms and hybridization have together to do, and how it will work together, and what are the results of it, and how we really can test these things. And I also had the opportunity and the pleasure to do a design for these blogger installations. So I had somehow this double role, being blogger and also to do some help for the exhibition. Thank you.
So, hello, I am Nicola Cupini. I am a member of the Into the Black Box Research Collective, which is a collective that is based in Italy and France. So we want to really thank the curators for this opportunity. In our work, we tried to point to the ways in which platforming as a process is radically reshaping the urban, but also the ways in which work is organized. And our aim is to enlighten how platforming is always a contested process. So we think that focusing on the struggles, the tensions, the resistances that took place in platformization process is really a way to think, to design possible alternative futures for our planet. Thanks.
Many thanks all of you for your kind and warm words, and especially thank you for your incredible contributions to the exhibition, to the publication, to the web platform, and all these many different levels of which this project is being composed. Now, to all other participants, the further 4 dozen bloggers and thinkers who due to the pandemic unfortunately couldn't be here today and be in person here with us, we also of course extend a heartfelt thanks for their contributions. And these people include Ross Exo Adams,
Tom Avermete,
Jochen Becker,
Andrea Berner,
Daniel Cardoso,
Ofri Znani,
Teddy Cruz and Fonna Foreman,
Peggy Dima,
the Fair Work Project,
Pedro Gadagno,
Benjamin Gerdes,
Stephen Graham,
Rietenthal Halpern,
Owen Heatherley,
Gabu Heindl,
Leo Hollis,
Andreas Kofler,
Maros Grevy,
Mona Mahal and Asli Serbest,
Jonathan Massey,
Sandro Mesadra,
Luis Moreno,
Edgar Peterse,
Vichanti Rao,
Scott Rogers and Susan Moore,
Joao Bratis,
Saskia Sassen,
Manuel Schwarzberg-Carrier,
Slutty Urbanissen,
Douglas Spencer,
Matthew Stewart,
Ravi Sundaram,
Tiziana Terranova,
This Machine Kills,
Ignacio Valero,
Matthias Wiegener,
and Ellen Wieg. So we hope to be able to greet them all here in the Austrian Pavilion in Venice at a later point in time.